Hi guys, welcome to another LivinginSAtv video. David here, and guess what? Today we are going to do Loftus Stadium inside. Again, stay tuned because once again this video will blow your mind. This is what we're gonna see today, guys. Don't forget to check the video that I did about the Loftus Park development. This is a really beautiful place. So this is the entrance. Plenty parking. Oh, nice McLaren to match the stadium.
Good morning, I'm Dave Papenfuss and I'm the tour guide here for Loftus Versfeld Stadium. Welcome to our stadium. It's been here, the home of Northern Transvaal and then the Blue Bulls Rugby for years. This is our reception area with some history, and if you follow me here, you can see the bust of Mr. Robert Loftus Owen Versfeld. He was a gentleman who was instrumental in getting the stadium going from 1906, when there were no fields for people to play rugby in Pretoria. He was the man who was the mover and shaker and got this piece of land, which was called the Eastern Sports Ground, and which has eventually become Loftus Versfeld. He died in 1932 and the stadium was named in his honor, and that's his bust there. And we're going to wander through reception, and we're very lucky today because tomorrow the Bulls are playing against Leinster. So just outside the Bulls dressing room is their Champions Wall. These are basically fixtures that have been won by the Bulls over the years, mostly Currie Cup matches, but you could see where there were dynasties, and the dynasties, for example, this was the Naas Botha era, lots of Naas Botha when they were dominating everything. So just almost like an honours roll for Bulls Rugby. Here, the stadium is home to two teams. We've just talked about the Blue Bulls. And it's also home to Mamelodi Sundowns, which is the football team, and this is their home stadium as well. This is the deep depths of the stadium. If you look to the right, we're down there, the away dressing room is down that side, the head injury assessment room is that side. There's a fully equipped operating theatre. There's dressing rooms for the linesmen and the referees. There's a radiology room, and here you can see they tell you what's what. So change room number 1 is the Blue Bulls, or it's the home team dressing room. It would be the Springboks if they were playing there. Number 2 is the head injury assessment room, where you go if you have to have a head injury assessment. The match officials are in number 3. The away team, in this case Leinster's, number 5, and then the others are just ball retrievers, mascot. They're not all used anymore, but that is what happens on match day. Here is where the referee will toss the coin. The away team captain will come from that side, and the home team captain, Bulls or Springboks, will come from behind me, and they will stand here and they'll do the toss. The winner will decide whether he's going to kick off or whether he's going to receive, and also whether he is going to play north to south or south to north. Now I'm going to head into the home team dressing room. So follow me. We're very lucky today. We're very lucky today because we have the dressing room set up for the Bulls game tomorrow against Leinster. So come inside. And this is the home dressing room. They warm up here, they have their debriefs here. You can see here 2 jerseys that have just been signed by the teams. They're going to be either given away or auctioned or rationed, I'm not too sure, but something special. The day before a big rugby match, be it the Springboks, be it the Bulls, there's a captain's practice. So everybody's here and they're getting ready for tomorrow. So come through, let's go into the dressing room. Right. Not necessarily as tidy as you would like because everyone's getting the last minute things done, but this is the home dressing room. Here you can see the players' kit has all been put out. Their shorts, their warm-up kit, their socks, their jerseys, and their names are above where they're sitting. So here we go. You'll recognize this man, Willie Leroux, 100 tests for South Africa. He is here, and the jerseys are all hung up. Here we go, Francois Klopper. This is his jersey. Here's Francois Klopper's jersey for tomorrow's game. And we've got one of the attendants here putting the jerseys out for the players. Marcel Coetzee. This is the Blue Bulls captain. This is his particular cubicle. There are 28 cubicles in this particular dressing room, and something that I find very, very interesting. Come and look here. They have to have places to charge their cell phones and other things. Modern day rugby player, very different from the past. If players get injured or they come off the field with a little niggle, this is where the physiotherapists and the team medical bunch will sit and sort them out if they don't need anything more serious. Down the passage, as I said, is a full operating room. You can break your leg playing football or rugby here and have it set and go home. So it's pretty sophisticated. So after the game's finished, the players come into the dressing room, they have a debrief, they have a shower, they get dressed, and they come through here. And this is where they meet their wives, their families, their children, and this is where they care after the match. So on game day, the wives, families will be waiting here. There'll be a full buffet set out. If it's cold, there's a fire burning. I'm quite sure they've had a braai or 2 in there. And this is where they will carry on until they've celebrated enough, or alternatively commiserated enough. And it's as good a cafe restaurant as I've seen. And just around the corner, a sign of the times, players are playing longer now. You have the Billicky playpen, where the children get entertained. Now what we're going to do is we're going to wander down the tunnel. So this is the tunnel. The teams have just tossed, gone back to their change rooms, got the troops, and off they go. They come down this tunnel onto the field. Now if you walk with me, you can imagine there are up to 52,500 people in the stand shouting and screaming. But look up on the roof. It says altitude 1,350 meters. It matters, and that is pure psychology. People who are here before a game will tell you that away teams, when they're coming down this tunnel, they look at that, and they know that the last quarter of the match they're going to be fighting for air because the altitude that they're not used to, and it is just something that's pure psychology. And here you come. This is not really rugby weather, is it? Rugby's played in winter. This is one of the most beautiful spring days here in Pretoria, and we're wandering onto the field that they're getting ready for tomorrow's game against Leinster. And an empty stadium has a very different vibe from what a full stadium has. But this is Loftus Versfeld on a beautiful day. If you have a look at this field, because they play rugby and football here, rugby players dig up fields, dig up pitches. Those boots create divots at scrums. If you play football, you need the field to be smooth. You need it to be predictable. So what they have in the grass is there's plastic. And you can see here, this is plastic. It doesn't come out. So the grass has plastic impregnated into it to help bind the soil together. Just one of the unique features. This is one of the gentlemen that makes this pitch look so fantastic. Fine grass cuttings. Very, very fine grass shaving. welcome to the Blue Bull Saal or the Blue Bull Hall. And this is used for events, it's used for entertaining, and on match days, obviously, it's full of guests. This is a history of Northern Transvaal Rugby and the Blue Bulls, which I'll get into very, very simply. The Rugby Union was set up in 1938, and the first president was a Professor Darfel, and he decided that the colours were going to be dark blue shorts and light blue jerseys. They needed an emblem, and his wife played tennis for the Northern Transvaal Tennis Union, and their emblem was the Barberton Daisy. And he was persuaded to use that as the emblem for Northern Transvaal Rugby. Just an interesting, one of the very, very first blazers. This belonged to one of the props, and if I stand next to it, you can't believe that is a front rank forwards blazer. Very small people in those days. But we'll move through quite quickly, and there were famous people involved in Northern Transvaal Rugby back in the day. Uli Schmidt, the rugby player's grandfather, was one of the early presidents. His father, Louis Schmidt, who also played hooker for Bulls, for Northern Transvaal and for the Springboks, that's Louis. And Professor Fritz Eloff, one of the doyens, one of the great administrators of Northern Transvaal Rugby. And Bierman van Zyl was a legendary coach in the union. And we just go through the years. As you can see, very, very important were the Currie Cup victories. This was the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th. Currie Cup was the thing to win in those days for two reasons. One is it was the only provincial competition, and the second one is eventually we were outlawed from international rugby, so there was no international rugby, so it was the premier rugby competition or rugby matches in this country. Here's a very, very interesting exhibit. This is Frick de Pree's boot. Frick de Pree in the 1969 Currie Cup Championship, he scored a try, kicked a penalty and a drop goal with that boot, which isn't bad for a lock forward. In 95, a whole lot of things changed. South Africa won the World Cup at Ellis Park. Louis Late gave every South African Springbok player a monetary reward, and professional rugby was born. Suddenly things had changed from amateur to officially professional. The other thing that happened around that time was Mandela was released from prison, and the whole political situation in South Africa changed. No longer was there Transvaal and Northern Transvaal. They were done away with. It was now Gauteng. So along with professional rugby and the changing political and, if you like, geographical situation, Northern Transvaal became the Blue Bulls, and the Blue Bulls were what it was about. There's the Currie Cup, the obsession again with all the big rugby teams in South Africa, and all of a sudden you now had two. You had the Blue Bulls Rugby Union, which was essentially about the players, and you had the Blue Bulls Company, which now became the professional financial arm of Northern Transvaal Rugby. So the whole situation had altered. And basically, if you keep wandering down here, you just get to some of the most famous players of the era. And we've got people like Brian Abana, you've got Heineken Meyer, who was a wonderful coach, Fourie de Pree, you've got Joost van der Westhuizen, you've got Morne Steyn, you've got Derek Hoogaard. And these were just some of the heroes that represented the Bulls on their quest for glory. And now we'll finish here with another Currie Cup victory. Here we have three of the main people in Blue Bulls Rugby. Obviously Jake White, the coach. We have Willem Strauss, who's the president, and we have Edgar Rathbone, who's the CEO. So this is the media center. This is particularly is the press media. So this is where the written journalists, or these days the typed journalists, will file their reports, and this is where they watch the match from. In match days, this is full of journalists. You can see they've got all their places to plug in laptops and plug in LAN cables and recharge cell phones. Mm-hmm. This is what they do now. Back in the day, it was typewriters. Journalists would sit here, they'd type out the report, they'd go to the back, they'd get a normal telephone because there were no cell phones, and they would phone their match report through to the editor who would copy it down and print it. Times have changed. So now we are in the commentary boxes. This is for the radio, and South Africa has 11 national languages or official languages, many of them being Black African languages. And here you'll have, here's one of the vernacular commentary boxes. This is another vernacular commentary box. Here is another vernacular commentary box. And then if we come in here, you've got Afrikaans and you've got English. And I can tell you something that is very, very interesting. Let's wander in here. I will sit here. You can see the field behind me. While it is fairly quiet in here and relatively soundproof, it's not entirely soundproof. So on match day, you're sitting with 5 different people here, all getting excited and commentating. And you'll know if you ever listen to black football or rugby commentary, it's very, very excitable. And they've got nicknames for players that we don't even know about. And if you stand behind here, it's like an absolute cacophony of noises. Everybody's getting excited in all these different languages, unique to South Africa. I think the only language they don't worry about, the only official language they don't worry about is sign language. But I guess that probably wouldn't be the best thing to try and do commentary in. Now we're in the away coaches, but dark away coaches. This is where they sit, and this is a double box. So when you see a photograph of the opposition coach, whether it's Italy, whether it's England, whether it's Leinster, whether it's Glasgow, or whether it's the Sharks or the Stormers, this is where their coaches sit. And you'll notice one of the things in this box that's different is there's branding in the background. And the reason for that is you'll often have a camera focusing on the coach, talking to someone on the side of the field. More exposure for the sponsors. Now, let's move on. I'll take you to one more place here. And you know who Nas Botha is?
Nope.
So that little blonde guy in the middle is one of the most famous rugby players in South African history. Old Nas. So this is where the TMO sits. That person. You can see here, TMO on the door. This is a man who tries to solve the complicated decision making. Once again, there's branding. And the big question is, how on earth does he make so many mistakes so often? So, yeah, if you want to look in there, just this is where we can't get into, but this is obviously where TV sets itself up.
Okay, I see. Oh, right, I see.
Okay, so this is the main presidential suite at Loftus Versfeld. It's named after Fritz Eloff, the former president of the union. It's called the Fritz Eloff Suite or Saal. Come with me. This is where the Lanis are. This is where those people who sit in the best seats in the house will be entertained. And as we've said already, tomorrow there's a big game. So you can see they're already kitting this place out with the buffet. The bar will be fully stocked before then. And this is where the VIPs will sit. We'll show you where they sit and watch rugby. But this is where they'll be entertained before and after. Come with me.
Let's see that.
So you can't buy a seat here. Well, you can if there's a bit of corruption involved, but that doesn't happen. But this is where you want to watch the rugby from.
Oh wow. This is like first class here.
This is first class, my friend. This is where you want to sit and watch
Sit
rugby.
down here a little bit just to... Very nice.
This is the spot.
Sure, madness.
So there are a couple of things that are present here today that will be used tomorrow during the rugby, which are normally not here. And if you look onto the field, there are 4 plastic wrap machines. And I got asked, what are those for? Well, when you watch the rugby and the Blue Bulls score a try, you get these fire flames being shot into the sky. Those machines are responsible.
So what Davis means is those machines, they're wrapped now in plastic. 1, 2, let's see if we can see the Bulls training today. 3, 4.
So here we are on what was the Eastern Sports Grounds more than 100 years ago. And it's now pretty much central Pretoria, but the view from here is amazing. And there are a couple of very, very famous things to see. So if you look over, well, ahead of you now to our right as we are filming, there are the Union Buildings, which is where our government basically sits and resides. So the Union Buildings just below the horizon. Downtown Pretoria is due west of us, and it's 4.5 kilometers from here. And if you keep panning, you get up onto the hill, sticking up on the hill looking a bit like a pop-up toaster. That is the Fort Drake Monument, which is an enormously symbolic place for the Afrikaans people, and an incredible place to go and visit, containing history like you can't believe. Just sticking out below the monument is the edge of UNISA, the University of South Africa.
Yeah.
You can just see it sticking out to the bottom left of the monument. And if you keep looking around, you can see how beautiful the suburbs of Pretoria are. And of course, this time of the year, it's just near the end of Jacaranda season. Jacaranda trees, which are natural to Australia, not South Africa, but you have many of them in Pretoria, and all these purple flowers, they flower in spring, and the last of the jacaranda blooms are still there, and they're absolutely beautiful. In front of us is Afrikaans Macy School, so this is the Afrikaans Girls School, and if you just walk around the corner you'll get to Afis, or Afrikaans Seuns Hoërskool, which is the boys' school. Just behind us is the University of Pretoria, Pretoria Boys High, Pretoria Girls High. Everything happens in this part of Pretoria.
Yeah, just want to showcase here. This is the normal. Look at this. And look at that. How's it? Oh, you haven't been here? I thought it was like the other one that we just saw. Can I see the kitchen?
Yeah, okay.
Sure, look at this. Dumelang. Hallo. Dumelang, guy. Oh, wow. Look at this amazing kitchen, eh? Impressive, eh? Look at this, their own restaurant. Guess what? I found a friend of mine, Portuguese speaking.
How's it going, guys? I'm actually a sports videographer with Lens that I've been living in Ireland, I would say now for 6.5, 7 years. But yeah, it was good to actually find another Portuguese soul here in South African land.
Bernardo, tell us what you think about South Africa.
I think this is my, I would say, fourth time here in South Africa over the course of the last 4 years now. And the country seems to be amazing because it's a lot more similar to home than it is Ireland, talking about weather, foods, I don't know, the warmth of the people. It's been incredible so far.
We're in the away team dressing room. So it could be an international team if the Springboks are here, otherwise a provincial team if the Blue Bulls are here. And this is the away team dressing room. This weekend, this is where Leinster are going to be. Not quite as fancy as
But it's not bad also.
But this isn't bad, is it?
Not bad at all. I thought it was like a horrible place to be as a away team, but it's not.
No, it's not awful. They've got their drinks here. There's a very small little place for rehab, and there are normally physio benches.
Okay, there's a bench. Oh, no, not a bench, more like a table. No, not bad. At least they have a good bathroom, I guess.
And then there's showers just on the other side. But yeah, so this, you've seen both. You've seen home and away.
Good. Okay, so this is the small field around here. Look at this place. Oh, there is a boxing place there. Stunning. Okay. So you say the boxer guy, his name is Sebastian Rothman.
On the side.
Okay, I see.
So this is where, on match day, this is just a sea of tents, of food stalls, of bars, and people partying before the game starts.
So must be a shock to many people to see the stadium like this in a quiet day.
On match day and a stadium away from match day are two entirely different places. I use the analogy of a duck. If you see a sports stadium, it's like a duck on a dam, and the duck's just moving, nothing's happening, but it keeps moving. But underneath, things are happening. The same thing at a stadium. All just seems to happen. But what goes on underneath is like that duck.
I see.
Right, now we're going to the gym. This is where the players get their muscles.
Okay. How's it? How are you?
Oh, my name's Dave. I do the
How's it, David? Nice to meet you, man.
I do the stadium tours of Loftus, and David's just making a video of Loftus and everything else. So we just wanted to show where the guys do all their hard work. Do you manage the gym?
Yes, the rehab.
Yes. Do they also use the gym for?
There you go.
Just lifting the bar. You go lift that bar. How to weight on it weighs about 100 kilos.
Sure. Okay, so these are the Lannisters. They came from Dublin. Seems like they're gonna play against the Wolves. See, sports also bring a lot of tourism. So according with the elevator, this is the first floor. Gee, wow.
And here behind me we have the bull, obviously, the emblem of the Blue Bulls. And this statue is absolutely amazing because it isn't anybody in particular. It's called the Unknown Rugby Player. And it's just paying homage to people who play rugby. Don't have to be good, just have to love the game.
There you go, guys, we are done with the video. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this tour around the stadium. Again, stay tuned, share, subscribe and destroy that like button, and I will see you in the next LivinginSAtv video.